Why is it important that the president's son is a disaster? I mean, let's be honest. Hunter Biden isn't president of the United States. Joe Biden is. So why does it matter that Hunter Biden is a complete disaster? Well, this is when it gets uncomfortable, and this is when it gets icky, and we're going to go down the top 3 things that are really, really scummy about Hunter Biden tonight. We have Senator Ron Johnson on. We got a great show, but let's talk about this for a moment, because I'll be honest. When my production team and I, we were discussing this special we wanted to do on Hunter Biden. Some of this I don't love. Why? He's not an elected official. It's the president's son, not the president, right? It's not Hunter Biden officially holds no power whatsoever. He's not the president. He's the president's son. Do we want to go after him? But we came to the conclusion, yes, because all sons are not equal, right? I mean, look, if I have a bad throwing arm, it's not that big of a deal. I come talk to you for a living. I'm right here on the First every single night, 9 o'clock Eastern time, talking to you. If I can't throw a baseball or a football, what difference does it make? Because I'm just a TV host. If I get drafted by the New York Giants to play quarterback and I can't throw the football, then it matters a lot. The President of the United States has a son who's an absolute grease fire. That becomes a big deal the second he becomes President of the United States of America, because apparently he and his son are intertwined somehow, as father and son would be, and by the looks of things, it looks like Joe Biden has used his position of political power to help, is that fair? Help, boost, get Hunter out of a jam or two, time and time and time again. Now, the real damaging info, and this is what's crazy about all this, because I'm about to go over the 3 biggest things, but the real crazy thing is this. The worst stuff, the absolute worst stuff between Joe and Hunter Biden, we don't know. Right? Think about what we know. And I know you've seen all the dirty pictures and stuff like that. Don't worry, we're not showing you anything like that tonight. You know it's a family show. But the worst stuff, the most corrupt stuff, you don't know. You and I don't know. We'll never know either. That's what should bother you a lot. How deep does that rabbit hole go? How deep is Joe Biden in that rabbit hole with Hunter? And you remember this art project, right? Well, art project. Hunter Biden, of course, he's a drug addict and a total just grease fire of a human. We all know someone like that. I'm not judging him for that. Lord knows I got plenty of my own problems. But, of course, now he's selling art. Which wouldn't be the big deal, right? Okay, Hunter Biden is going to stop doing meth and do some finger paintings for the kiddos or something like that. Except it's not that at all. He's selling pieces of art ranging from $75,000 to $500,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, well, that's fine. What's the big deal? Good for him. He's getting a little cheddar. It's a really big deal. Hunter Biden's not some established artist who's going to get $75,000 and very much not going to get $500,000 for a piece of art. He's getting paid for this art specifically because he's the president's son. Which, okay, look, if I'm being nice, and you know what a nice guy I am, if I'm being nice and I say to myself, all right, look, okay, so he's getting a lot of money because he's the president's son. That's kind of the way it goes, right? The children of the rich and famous, they don't live like you and I live. They do have access to things. They have better cars and pretty girls and hospitals and everything. They have the best medical care. They have the best jobs. They get, the life is one big red carpet for them. Oh, big deal. Okay, so he's getting $500,000 from someone. You're right. It wouldn't be the end of the world if we knew who that someone was. You see, not only are people paying $75,000, $500,000 for pieces of Hunter Biden's art, we don't know who these people are. That can't be just glossed over. That can't be looked past. That, especially when you combine it with everything else in Hunter Biden's life, That's a really, really, really big deal. I mean, we have Obama's former ethics director. His name's Walter Schaub. He said, quote, "The notion of a president's son capitalizing on that relationship by selling art at obviously inflated prices and keeping the public in the dark about who's funneling money to him has a shameful, gritty feeling to it." Yeah, to put it mildly. And okay, that in and of itself, maybe you can say that's not the end of the world. All right, there's some weird Hollywood dirtball that doesn't want people to know he's into Hunter Biden's weirdo art. Okay, but when you combine that with story number 2, what's story number 2? Oh, I don't know. It's Hunter Biden still owning 10% equity in something called Bohai Harvest RST. What do you need to know about that? Oh, I don't know. It's in Shanghai. It's in Shanghai. We have a Biden family, Hunter Biden specifically, with some really, really, really deep, dirty-looking ties to our biggest foreign enemy, China. Remember, this is the Hunter Biden that hopped on Air Force Two when Joe was vice president, cruised over there, and while Joe Biden shuffled down off the plane to go get slapped around by the Chinese, Hunter went somewhere else. Hunter went and scored some sweetheart deals. Why? Why? The Chinese, they are our enemy. I don't like them. I make no bones about that. But let's be honest with ourselves here. These are not stupid people. Why would the Chinese continue to pour money into a human grease fire? The Chinese can invest with anybody they want. Instead, they look at the human crack pipe and they pour money into him. Why? Well, let's be honest about this. I could say whatever I want. By the grace of God, the first lets me say whatever I want. So I'm just going to come out and say whatever I want here. It looks like the Chinese bought off Hunter Biden so they could have access to Joe Biden. And if that's the case, then where are we as a nation? If the President of the United States of America is not only a half-functioning adult, which he is now, but B, in bed in some way with our number one foreign adversary, where does that leave us? Well, not in a very good place, right? And we remember the emails, right? You remember Hunter Biden's emails? All those scummy emails that came out showing this deal and that business deal. And remember, there was even a witness, a former business partner came out on the news and said, I was part of this. I know all this. This stuff really happened. You remember that, right? And you remember the media buried the story? And when I say buried the story, remember this, because this may have been the best evidence of media corruption I've ever seen in my life. New York Post runs this story on Hunter Biden's emails. Twitter stops the New York Post Twitter page. Not only did they stop the Twitter page, they banned anybody from posting the Hunter Biden emails on Twitter. And then the entire system decided they were going to get together and call this, what was it again? Russian disinformation. Well, it wasn't Russian disinformation. It was all very, very, very real. So we have the system protecting Hunter Biden and his dirty past. We have China investing a lot with Hunter Biden for no apparent reason. I didn't even bring up his sweetheart deal with Ukraine that has corruption written all over it. And again, all this stuff aside is one thing, but when his dad is the leader of the free world, this becomes a really, really, really big deal. Parents, I'm a parent myself. My kids are 10 and 12. I hope and pray none of them turn out to be grease fires. Maybe one of them will. And maybe you're watching this and one of your kids is one. Okay, I don't want to be that. I feel bad for you. It happens. I'm not even judging Joe Biden for the fact his son's a grease fire. I'd never judge you. It might happen to me. I don't know. It happens. Life happens. But when you're the president of the United States of America, you can't have ties like this, and you can't have a son like this, because it's not about Joe Biden or Jill Biden. It's not about Hunter Biden. It's not about anybody named Biden. It's about the United States of America. That's what's at stake now. And having this man this close to the Oval Office when he's this dirty, it is a big deal. Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.